Exercise, annoyingly, is a really good thing to do. It reduces the likelihood of developing so many problems and is a genuine medical treatment for so many others that exercise is probably the closest thing we have to a universal cure. See sources 1 and 2. It's also so good for you mentally that doctors can genuinely prescribe it for treating mental health conditions. Source 3. It doesn't just help with self-perception and confidence. 4-5. It affects your actual hormones and bodily systems in ways that are proven to make you feel better. See sources 6 and 7. Regular exercise even makes your brain physically bigger, helping memory and learning. Source 8. It's really your best friend. The only problem with exercise is that it kind of sucks. There's a strong natural aversion to not doing it, which is evolutionary because it was a helpful adaptation for our ancestors to want to conserve calories. And then you feel lazy and bad for not doing it. And then you look up exercise inspiration online and there's all these people telling you that you need to be self-disciplined. And then you feel even worse. Just do it, people say. And that's great, but how? A great starting point for any behavioral change is understanding human nature itself. And this is one of those lovely moments where science and philosophy both give us the same conclusion. See source 9. The Buddha famously described the human mind as like a rider piloting an elephant. The elephant represents all our emotions, instincts, drives, gut feelings, and subconscious. The rider represents our conscious will, how we actually think, our internal monologue, our self, as opposed to what we sometimes detachedly call our brain. But here's the thing, elephants are hard to steer, and the point of the metaphor is very much that we're not that strong compared to this subconscious side of ourselves. Often we are driven by our emotions, by our brains, and not vice versa. Self-discipline is hard. Once your elephant makes a decision and starts charging, it's not easy to pull back. And as a general rule, the key to getting yourself to do something isn't by some Victorian era preaching on self-discipline, although of course you do need a bit of that, but it's really by setting things up so that the thing you want to do becomes an easier choice and is more palatable to that elephant. Elephants, being human brains in this metaphor, follow the path of least resistance. Your job, as your conscious self, as that rider, is to make an easier path. For example, getting changed and trekking to the gym and queuing up for machines means a lot of resistance from the elephant, see source 10. So if you want to start building muscle, begin with an easier path. Buy some adjustable dumbbells that you can just lift in your room, or literally just fill a backpack with books and lift that. And don't start off by doing an hour a day. It can literally just be 10 minutes whenever you have some spare. You can work up to doing an hour a day, but the point is that that's a gradual process that's formed as you begin forming that habit and as that makes it become gradually easier. So balancing work with both a social life and healthy behaviors can seem really daunting, but it's not as hard as it seems to make the latter a priority. And sometimes you'll just feel too tired or be too busy to do a full exercise session. And the ultimate exercise advice is always, it's better to half-arse it than zero-arse it. Do half your session. Do a quarter of your session. If you're too tired to really focus on what you're doing, just go through the motions. Go on autopilot. And it may not be optimal, but your body and mind aren't asking you to be at your best. They just want you to get up and move a bit. And I mean, regular exercise is even more trivial than what I'm describing because it's really things that you can do. It's just like getting off the bus or stop earlier and walking to where you want to be. It could just be going for a stroll with your friends when it's sunny, see source 11. Or find an enjoyable hobby that gets you moving. And this doesn't need to be a typical ball sport. It could be hiking, climbing, rowing, martial arts, fencing, cycling, gymnastics. There's a massive range to choose from. And these are also great because you can make really good friends through these. And then being physically active shifts from a chore to just a fun thing to do with mates. The whole point is start small and short and then build up. And this applies not just for exercise, but for any habit you want to cultivate in your life ever. Because the more you build that habit, the more you carve a path up for your elephant, the more synaptic pathways begin becoming regularized in your brain, and the easier exercise gets. And you actually get to the point where you start liking it. So that so-called runner's high, for example, is a real physical high because your body is producing its own opioids and cannabinoids. And yes, those are chemically similar molecules to the external opiates and cannabis that you take through recreational drugs. Your brain has receptors for those drugs because it's evolved to be responsive to your body's own opioids and its own cannabinoids that it produces in order to motivate you to do things. So that runner's high is a real, actual high. It's a healthier and free alternative to the classic British pastime.